Have you ever stopped to look around and count all the plastic things you see? Your toothbrush is probably plastic. The bottle you drink water from might be plastic. Even the chair you're sitting on could have plastic parts. Plastic is everywhere in our modern world, and you know it plays a huge role in our daily lives. We make so much of it every single year, more than 400 million tons. That is actually heavier than all the people on Earth put together. This incredible material is strong, light, and can be shaped into almost anything we can imagine. Understanding where all this plastic comes from is the first step in learning how to use it wisely and protect our beautiful planet. The story of plastic is a story of science and invention. For most of history, people used materials like wood, metal, and glass. But about 100 years ago, scientists discovered a new way to create materials from something found deep underground: oil. This discovery changed everything. It allowed us to make things cheaper, faster, and in many different colors and shapes. From life-saving medical equipment in hospitals to the fun toys you play with, plastic has made so many things possible. Its journey is a fascinating one, starting as a dark, gooey liquid and ending up as the useful objects we see and touch every single day. But why does it matter so much? Because plastic is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it helps us in countless ways. It keeps our food fresh, makes cars lighter so they use less fuel, and protects us with helmets and safety gear. It is a true superhero material in many situations. On the other hand, because we make so much of it and it lasts for a very long time, it can cause big problems for our environment if we are not careful. Thinking about the entire life of a plastic product, from its creation to what happens to it after we use it, is super important for everyone. So let's go on an adventure together. We are going to travel deep into the earth, visit giant bustling factories, and peek inside amazing machines. We will uncover the secrets of how a simple drop of oil is transformed into a sturdy lunchbox or a colorful toy brick. This journey is not just about science, it is about understanding our world and our place in it. By learning the full story of plastic, we can become smarter users and better caretakers of our home, planet Earth. Let's begin this incredible journey from the ground up and see how it all works. The incredible journey of most plastics begins in a very dark and ancient place, deep beneath the surface of the Earth. It starts with a substance called crude oil, which is also known as petroleum. This thick, black and gooey liquid is a fossil fuel. That means it was formed millions and millions of years ago from the remains of tiny sea creatures and plants. Over a very long time, heat and immense pressure from the layers of rock above transformed these ancient living things into the energy-rich oil we find today. It is like a buried treasure, but instead of gold, it holds the power to fuel our cars and create amazing materials. To get this crude oil, companies must drill far down into the ground, sometimes even under the ocean floor. They use giant machines called oil rigs, which are like massive metal straws that reach deep into the Earth's crust. These rigs have powerful drills that cut through layers of rock and sand to reach the pockets of oil trapped below. Once they find it, powerful pumps work to pull the crude oil up to the surface. It is a difficult and complex job that requires a lot of heavy machinery and skilled workers. The oil is then transported through long pipelines or on huge ships called tankers to its next destination. Once the crude oil arrives at a special facility called a refinery, its transformation truly begins. A refinery is a huge, sprawling place filled with pipes, towers, and tanks. It looks like a city made of metal. The main job of a refinery is to separate the crude oil into its many different parts. Crude oil is not just one thing. It is a mix of many different types of molecules, some big and heavy, some small and light. The process used to separate them is called fractional distillation. Think of it like unmixing a big salad to separate the lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers into different bowls. Inside a tall tower at the refinery, the crude oil is heated up until it becomes a hot gas. This gas then rises up the tower. As it rises, it begins to cool down. Different parts of the oil turn back into liquids at different temperatures. The heaviest parts, like asphalt for roads, turn back into liquid at the bottom, where it is still very hot. Lighter parts, like gasoline for cars, travel higher up the tower before they cool and condense. And some of the most important parts for making plastic are collected near the top. This careful separation is the very first step in turning ancient sea life into the plastics we use every day. After the refinery has done its job of separating the crude oil, we are left with many useful substances. One of these is a group of light chemicals called naphtha. This is the special ingredient that chemists need to begin making plastic. But naphtha itself is still a mix of different molecules. To make plastic, scientists need to isolate the exact tiny building blocks they want to use. This requires another clever process that happens at a chemical plant. This next step is all about breaking down bigger molecules into smaller, more useful ones. It is like taking a long chain and breaking it into its individual links. This process is called cracking, and it sounds a bit like what it does. The naphtha is heated to extremely high temperatures, often over 800 degrees Celsius, inside a big furnace with steam. This intense heat causes the larger hydrocarbon molecules in the naphtha to vibrate and shake so much that they literally crack apart into smaller, simpler molecules. It is a bit like putting popcorn kernels in a hot popper. The heat makes them burst open and change into something new. This high-tech cracking process allows chemists to create the precise ingredients they need for making different kinds of plastic. The most important building blocks that come from this cracking process are tiny gas molecules called monomers. Two of the most common monomers used to make plastic are named ethylene and propylene. You cannot see them because they are invisible gases, but they are the fundamental starting point for the most widely used plastics in the world. Think of them as individual Lego bricks. On their own, they are just small separate pieces, but when you start connecting them, you can build something much bigger and stronger. These simple ethylene and propylene gases are the key to unlocking the world of plastics. Once these monomer gases are created, they are carefully separated and purified. This is a very important step because any impurities could ruin the final plastic product. The pure ethylene and propylene are then stored in large tanks, ready for the next magical step in our journey. We have successfully traveled from a thick black liquid buried deep in the earth through a fiery furnace to create invisible gases. These tiny, unseen building blocks are now prepared to be joined together in a process that will finally turn them into the solid, durable material we know as plastic. Now we have our tiny building blocks, the monomers like ethylene and propylene. But how do these separate little gas molecules become a solid piece of plastic? The answer lies in a wonderful chemical reaction called polymerization. The word poly means many, and mer means unit. So, polymerization is simply the process of joining many single units together to form a long chain. It is like taking thousands of individual paper clips and linking them one by one until you have a very long, strong paper clip chain. This chain is called a polymer. To make this magic happen, chemists use special recipes. They put the monomer gases, like ethylene, into a large container called a reactor. Then, they add other special chemicals called catalysts. A catalyst is like a super helpful friend who helps the monomers hold hands and link up without getting used up itself. The reactor also uses high pressure and temperature to encourage the monomers to get close and start connecting. Under these specific conditions, the individual ethylene molecules begin to bond together, forming an incredibly long chain called polyethylene. This is one of the most common plastics in the world. Imagine a huge dance party for molecules. The monomers are all the individual dancers. The catalyst is the DJ who plays the perfect song that makes everyone want to form a giant conga line. As the dancers join the line, it gets longer and longer, snaking around the dance floor. This is exactly what happens inside the reactor. Millions and millions of monomers join together to form these massive polymer chains. The chains get tangled up with each other, which is what gives the final plastic material its strength and solid structure. What started as a gas has now become a collection of solid strands. After the polymerization reaction is complete, the new plastic is no longer a gas. It has been transformed into a fluffy powder, a grainy substance, or sometimes a thick liquid. This raw polymer is then cooled, washed, and dried. The final step in this stage is to melt this polymer and push it through small holes, creating tiny beads or pellets. These little plastic pellets, often called nurdles, are the final product of the chemical plant. They look like tiny, clear, or milky white beads. These pellets are easy to transport, store, and sell to other factories that will melt them down and shape them into the final products we use. Our plastic journey has now brought us to a factory floor filled with the raw material for creation, millions of tiny plastic pellets. These nurdles are like blank canvases, ready to be transformed into almost any shape imaginable. The next step is to melt these pellets and mold them into useful objects. This happens inside amazing machines that use heat and pressure to shape the plastic. One of the most common methods is called injection molding. It works a bit like a water gun, but instead of water, it shoots hot, melted plastic. In an injection molding machine, the plastic pellets are first poured into a large funnel called a hopper. From the hopper, they fall into a long, heated barrel with a giant screw inside. As the screw turns, it pushes the pellets forward. The heat from the barrel and the friction from the screw's movement melt the pellets into a hot, gooey liquid like thick honey. This melted plastic collects at the end of the barrel, ready for the next step. The machine is now primed and ready to create something new with incredible speed and precision, over and over again. Once enough melted plastic is ready, the machine powerfully injects it into a custom-made mold. A mold is a hollow metal block that has been carved into the exact shape of the object you want to make, like a Lego brick, a bottle cap, or the handle of a toothbrush. The hot plastic shoots into the mold, filling every single tiny corner and detail of the carved space. Cold water flows through channels around the mold to cool it down very quickly. As the plastic cools, it hardens and takes on the permanent shape of the mold. It is a very fast process, often taking only a few seconds. After the plastic has hardened, the mold opens up and the newly formed plastic part is pushed out. A brand new plastic object has been created. This cycle of melting, injecting, cooling, and ejecting can be repeated thousands of times an hour, making injection molding perfect for producing huge numbers of identical items. Other shaping methods exist too, like blow molding, which is used to make bottles by blowing air into a small tube of hot plastic inside a bottle-shaped mold, much like blowing up a balloon. These clever shaping techniques are what allow us to have such a wide variety of plastic products in our lives. Now that we know how plastic is made and shaped, let's look around and see all the incredible ways we use it. The products made from those tiny pellets are truly part of every aspect of our lives, from the moment we wake up until we go to sleep. In your bathroom, your toothbrush, shampoo bottle, and maybe even your shower curtain are made of plastic. In the kitchen, you will find plastic food containers, cutting boards, and cooking utensils. Plastic helps keep our food safe and fresh for longer. It is lightweight, which makes it easy to carry, and it does not shatter like glass, which makes it safer. Plastic is also a hero in the world of medicine. In hospitals, many life-saving tools are made from single-use plastic to keep them sterile and prevent the spread of germs. Things like syringes, IV bags, gloves, and medical tubing are all made of plastic. This material is clean, reliable, and can be molded into the precise shapes needed for delicate medical procedures. It has made healthcare safer and more effective for people all over the world. Without plastic, modern medicine would look very different, and many treatments we rely on would not be possible in the same way. Think about the things you use for fun and for learning. Many toys, from building blocks and dolls to remote-control cars, are made of durable, colorful plastic. The case of your computer, tablet, or phone is plastic. The pens you write with and the binders you use for school are also plastic. In sports, plastic is used to make protective helmets, shin guards, and lightweight equipment that helps athletes perform their best. Its strength and versatility mean it can be designed to be hard and strong for a helmet or soft and flexible for the grip on a tennis racket. Even the clothes we wear can be made from plastic. Fabrics like polyester, nylon, and acrylic are actually types of plastic fibers. These materials are popular because they are strong, dry quickly, and can be made in many different colors and textures. They are used in everything from fleece jackets and athletic wear to carpets and curtains. The sheer variety of plastic products is astonishing. We have taken a simple resource from deep in the ground and, through clever science and engineering, turned it into a material that builds, protects, entertains, and clothes our world in countless ways. To make the enormous amount of plastic the world uses, we need enormous factories. While plastic is produced all over the globe, China has become the world's largest producer. The country is home to some of the biggest and most advanced plastic manufacturing facilities on the planet. These are not small workshops, they are massive industrial complexes that can be as large as entire towns. They are filled with endless rows of machinery, all working day and night to turn those tiny plastic pellets into finished goods. The scale of these operations is truly mind-boggling. Walking into one of these giant factories would be an incredible experience. You would hear the constant hum and clatter of hundreds of molding machines working in perfect rhythm. Robotic arms would be moving swiftly, grabbing newly made parts and placing them on conveyor belts. Forklifts would zip by, carrying huge bags of plastic pellets or stacks of finished products ready for shipping. Thousands of workers are employed in these factories, overseeing the machines, checking the quality of the products, and packaging them for customers all around the world. It is a highly organized and efficient system designed for mass production. These factories are so large and important because they supply products to companies everywhere. The toy you bought in Europe or the food container you use in America might have started its life as a set of plastic pellets in a factory in China. This country plays a central role in the global supply chain, meaning that what happens there affects the availability and price of plastic goods for everyone. Their ability to produce huge quantities of plastic products quickly and at a low cost has made them an essential part of the modern economy. They are the engine room of the plastic world. The size of these factories also highlights the immense scale of our plastic consumption. The sheer volume of raw materials they use and the mountains of finished products they ship out every single day are a powerful reminder of how dependent we have become on this material. These mega factories are monuments to human ingenuity and our ability to create on a massive scale. But they also stand as a symbol of the challenges we face, because every single item they produce will one day need to be disposed of, which leads us to think about the environmental impact of our plastic world. While plastic is an incredibly useful material, its production and disposal create serious problems for our planet. The story of plastic does not end when we bring a product home. That is just the middle of its life. The environmental impact begins right at the start, with the extraction of oil and natural gas. Drilling for these fossil fuels can disrupt ecosystems on land and in the ocean. Sometimes accidents like oil spills can happen, causing devastating damage to wildlife and coastal environments. The entire process of getting plastic's raw materials out of the ground uses a lot of energy and can pollute the air and water. The manufacturing process itself also has a significant environmental footprint. The chemical plants and factories that turn oil into plastic pellets and then into products use massive amounts of energy, which often comes from burning more fossil fuels. This releases greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat and contribute to climate change, which is causing our planet to get warmer. The production of plastic is therefore closely linked to some of the biggest environmental challenges we face today. The convenience of plastic comes at a cost to the health of our planet. Perhaps the biggest problem with plastic is what happens after we are done using it. Plastic is designed to be durable and last for a very long time. This is a great quality when you want a product to be strong, but it is a huge problem when it becomes waste. Most plastic does not biodegrade, meaning it does not rot away like an apple core. Instead, it just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. These tiny pieces can get into our soil, our water, and even into the bodies of animals who mistake them for food. Plastic waste is piling up in landfills and polluting our beautiful oceans. The images of plastic trash floating in the sea and harming marine life are heartbreaking and show the dark side of our plastic addiction. birds, turtles, and whales can get tangled in larger plastic items or eat plastic pieces, which can make them very sick or even kill them. This pollution affects the entire food chain and the health of our oceans. We have created a material that is so successful and long-lasting that our planet is struggling to cope with it. Recognizing this problem is the first step toward finding better solutions for the future. Knowing about the problems plastic can cause is not meant to make us feel hopeless. Instead, it should inspire us to be smarter and more creative in how we use and manage this material. The future of plastic is in our hands, and there are many positive actions we can take, both as individuals and as a global community. The key ideas for a better plastic future revolve around three important words: reduce, reuse, and recycle. These three actions work together to help us lessen our impact on the environment and treat plastic as the valuable resource it is. First, the most effective thing we can do is to reduce the amount of plastic we use in the first place, especially single-use plastics. These are items we use just once and then throw away, like plastic straws, bags, and cutlery. We can make simple choices every day, like carrying a reusable water bottle and coffee cup, using cloth bags for shopping, and choosing products with less plastic packaging. Factories and companies can also help by designing products that use less plastic, or by using other materials where possible. Reducing our demand for new plastic is the most powerful way to solve the problem at its source. Second, we can reuse plastic items as many times as possible. Instead of throwing away a plastic container after one use, we can wash it and use it again for storing leftovers or packing a lunch. Many plastic products are strong enough to be used over and over. This simple habit extends the life of the plastic, meaning we get more value from the energy and resources that were used to make it. Companies can also design more products to be refillable, like soap dispensers or cleaning spray bottles. Reusing keeps plastic out of the landfill and reduces the need to make new plastic from scratch. Finally, when we can no longer reduce or reuse, we must recycle. Recycling is the process of collecting plastic waste and turning it back into raw material to make new products. This is where those tiny plastic pellets come back into the story. When we put a plastic bottle in the recycling bin, it can be taken to a special facility where it is sorted, cleaned, shredded, melted, and turned back into nurdles. These recycled pellets can then be used to make things like park benches, clothing, or new bottles. Recycling saves energy, conserves natural resources, and reduces the amount of plastic waste that ends up polluting our planet. By working together, we can create a circular system where plastic is used again and again, leading to a cleaner, healthier world for everyone.